The Ravens, this is another one of those teams you need. We all understand what you're dealing with Lamar Jackson. We understand that that part of this game is going to be very, very difficult for you to have to deal with him, with his running ability. It's elite. That, you know, even when he drops back to pass, and watching the opening game against Kansas City, then watching the Raider game, and the Raiders did a good job of really pressuring him. But then all of a sudden, you know, you get back there, you think you have him trapped, he ducks, he moves, he jumps, and now it's a 15-yard run. Instead of an 8-yard sack, it's a 15-yard run. And, you know, that's what you're going to deal with in this football game. Now, the thing you're also going to deal with is this is a team very similar to with Todd Monken as the coordinator. Todd was a collegiate offensive coordinator, was at Georgia and stuff. So he understands power football, running the ball. That's kind of his thing. But he's a little bit like what you see with what you had with the Saints. He's going to play with tight ends. He's going to play with a fullback. Patrick Ricard is their fullback. Sometimes if you follow 42, you can find where the ball's going to go, because that's where he generally ends up, in front of the ball. And they've also got these tight ends with Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. They like to get in these tight bunch formations, you know. So they'll put Andrews, Likely, and Ricard all on one side, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. We're about to load this thing up, coming to this right side over here, and you're thinking, well, and next thing you know, the inside fake goes to Derrick Henry or to Justice Hill, and everybody's going to right, and then he pulls the ball. Jackson then runs out the left side with nobody there.
That's so tough.
I mean, it's just they're going to test you in every way to play run defense in this game.
Combination of physicality and eye candy is not good for this Cowboys
Not
defense.
good at all. And this offensive line will come off the football. They do have their issues in pass protection at one particular spot with Daniel Palele is their
their left side, and they did the draft and stash with Andrew Voorhees, which they're so good at doing, and he's turning into a hell of a player at left guard.
Yeah, they've got a really, I think, a quality offensive line when it comes to the protection. Like I say, the Raiders got after him pretty good, but the right guard is where the majority of the pressures are going to come from, because he's a 6'8", 380-pound guy. And he is very slow-footed. I mean, he's a mammoth guy, so he does have problems with quickness. Now, can you take advantage of that? Can you put Osa over him? Can you put Micah Parsons in that gap? Can you do something to make this guy have to block one-on-one? But you got to get them to throw in the football.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best way to beat the Ravens on offense is to get them to throw the football. But they got a quality receiver. I think they've got a couple of quality receivers. I really do like Zay Flowers, who they got from Boston College. And he's number 4. And Zay is a always on the move guy. When they get under center, they'll hand him the jet sweep. When they get under center, they'll fake the jet sweep to him and then flip the ball to Henry or to Hill. You know, they're trying to be a little creative of how they get Flowers the ball.
Henry Hill, isn't that the good fella?
Henry Hill is a good fella. Yeah. But Justice Hill is their backup running back.
Oklahoma State.
He is mainly the guy they use on third down. So he's their third down back. And when they get in long yardage situations, they like to throw the screen. Mm-hmm. That seems to be either the tight end delay screen or they'll throw the screen to Hill. This receiving core, it's with Bateman, Flowers, and Nelson Aguilar. What they try to do, too, is and Mark Andrews is included in this, is they want to make as easy as they can throws for the quarterback. So you'll see them go up the field and then curl inside. Up the field, then outs. Up, you know, everything is pretty simple. It's not these massive, you know, they've thrown some crossing routes and things like that. We saw what the Saints did to you last week with the crossing routes, and the Ravens will probably try. But the quarterback is kind of what I would call like a wrist thrower. He's not really a winded up.
He flicks it.
He flicks it.
Yeah.
He flicks it, and then that way he's not always accurate. So there's sometimes behind, you know, sometimes there's the ball is not where it needs to be. Like if he follows through and he throws it, he could throw it on a line, or you would throw it on a line, and then the guy would be in front of him and he'd catch it. So kind of flicking it it sometimes doesn't go exactly where he wants it to go.
Got to use proper technique, man.
It's exciting to think about the possibility of if you can force them to throw the ball.
If you can force them to throw the ball.
But that's such a big ask, and I worry the Zay Flowers and his speed and quickness.
Yeah.
I think Chris Olave took advantage of Kalen Carson a little bit last week with the speed. That might be a matchup to kind of circle for you.
Well,
how does Kalen Carson bounce back?
Flowers leads the league in average separation.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This dude is open.
But the thing and the reason I think that he's always open or the separation, he's always on the move.
Yeah.
He's not a stationary player.
Well, and Lamar's always buying so much time to where
there was one
he
time,
comes open.
Yeah, there was one time in the Raiders game where they've got Jackson trapped on the right side of the formation. So he's kind of scrambling, moving, and Flowers keeps moving and moves all the way to Jackson's left. I mean, far left down the field. And he gets between the safeties and the linebackers, so they lose him. And now Jackson's kind of running around over here to the right side. And what does he do? He throws the ball all the way across the middle of the field to Flowers standing right there for a big. But the Raiders lost him in coverage.
Yeah.
Because of the way that he was playing on the move. So
can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Because Zimmer talked about, he was asked about Overshown as a spy, maybe on Lamar Jackson. He said Micah he thinks could match up well. Would you have Overshown kind of on one of these tight ends? I mean, Likely was so good week 1 against Kansas City, but you'd think Overshown can run with these guys.
You would think that Overshown could run with these guys. To me, I worry more. This is going to sound strange. I worry more about Mark Andrews than I do like. But the thing with Likely is he is a good catcher of the football. I just think Mark Andrews is a guy that catches. He's kind of a bad ball catcher. He's a contested catcher. You know, how do you cover him?
Yeah,
I think is going to be the how do you choose to match up? You obviously have to have some size. I don't think either tight end runs great. I mean, good enough. I mean, when you start talking about running down the field, so the whole thing is going to be about who do you match up with that can handle big guys but be able to run with them in a way that when the ball goes in the air, you're going to have to make it contested plays because Mark Andrews and Likely both will get the ball. I mean, that's going to be a key for them.
I believe no NFL team has more pass attempts out of 12 personnel than the Ravens do. Yeah. So Likely and Andrews are running routes together constantly. And that's where you have to worry about them too. When I mentioned that tight bunch formation where they get all these guys together, and then maybe I talked about having the fullback in there, but then they put Flowers in there. So now they got Andrews, Likely, and Flowers, and you're kind of thinking, okay, well, here comes the crack. Mm-hmm. Here comes the crack talk, and then they scatter out of that. But they will challenge. They are going to challenge this Dallas, and rightfully so. Yeah,
you challenge Dallas to play run defense in this game because everything that the Saints do when it comes to running a football with multiple tight ends and playing a fullback and the movement, the motions and things like that, the Ravens could do the same thing. They would probably love nothing more than Lamar Jackson not having to throw many passes in this game.
Yeah, well, it's even more difficult because of the added dimension of Lamar Jackson being able to run on you where Derek Carr couldn't. You know what I mean? Run. This is an absolutely awful matchup for the Cowboys.
Where Carr can throw very well, it's the opposite. Where Carr cannot run, it's the opposite that way. Because this guy, when Jackson pulls the ball, you could see fear. I mean, literally, I was like, oh, no. You're watching the tape, and you're going, oh, no, this is about to be a big play.
He's one of the all-time greats.
Because his ability, the ball handling and things like that, you get him to throw, he will make mistakes. He will make mistakes in the game if you can get him to throw. But
do you think he's the best running quarterback ever?
Man, I saw Randall Cunningham. I thought he was pretty damn good. I saw Mike Vick. Thought he was pretty damn good. This guy,
you'd probably rather have Steve Young.
Young,
but as far as a pure runner,
we always had good luck against Steve Young when we were in Green Bay. I mean, but he has that ability, the elusiveness. I think this guy's got probably better elusiveness than all the guys that I mentioned there. Yeah. You know, his ability just to run out of just problems. You know, with things breaking down, and their offensive line to me, last week I thought there were a couple of different spots you could attack. These guys, I mean, this Tyler Lindenbaum, the center, you know, we talked about him, I know, on the draft show a bunch. undersized and all that, man, he's leading sweeps. He's getting out second level. He's just a really good athlete. They've got some guys, Ronnie Stanley. They've got some really good offensive.
That left side's really good.
This is going to be a challenge.
It's absolutely amazing that as fearsome as that running game is, it does not equate to a passing game when they need it in big situations.
Yeah, if you find a way to stay with or stay ahead or and make him have to throw the football. If they do, they get down to the final couple of minutes of games and stuff like that. That's a challenge for them.